Fred here, welcome back to the Gear Obsession channel. In this episode we will be taking a look at the Remington SQUEEG-E, so stay tuned. So what the Remington SQUEEG-E is supposed to do is replace patches and swabs. So instead of having to run patches down there to clean your barrel, which by the way I have my my buckmark, Browning buckmark here that I had brought back from the range, which I'm going to go ahead and throw some range shots in here after we do this just to make the video a little more exciting. But anyway, it's supposed to replace swabs and patches, so instead you're just sort of squeegeeing. You know, think of it as your windshield on your car. You know, you got to use wet paper, and then you got to dry it with paper or rags or newspaper, whatever you want to use. Or you could just use a squeegee, right? So, squeegee for your barrel, right there. And you can see that it's sort of almost like earplugs, where you know you have multiple baffles or whatever, and it's sort of like a hard kind of rubbery kind of feeling. It's not as soft as an earplug. It's actually a little bit harder. So we'll go ahead and try this out. Excuse me if I'm sweating and you're getting glare and it's blinding you off my bald head, but it is very hot in my garage. Let me see, it's about 90 degrees. So if I look cool right now, it's an act. Alright, so the first thing that we have to do here is to go ahead and wet the barrel. You don't want to run these things through your barrel dry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use actually a patch just to wet everything down with some good old-fashioned hops, or hoppies, however you want to say it. I know, you know, however I say it, I'm probably saying it wrong, so just pronounce it the other way. But most people will just put this on the brush, on the metal brush or brass brush, and just run it through. I like running a wet patch through, and then running a wet brush through. So I'm really just soaking it. So we'll go ahead and just run that through a couple of times, as so. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and wet my brush with hoppies just a little bit. I know a lot of people don't like it. I'm not double dipping though. This is a clean brush, so not contaminating it. And we'll go ahead and run this through. Now I'm going to bring you in close when I go ahead and run the squeegee through. Most of you already know how to clean a barrel and clean a gun, and this is not what this video is all about. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this through. If you notice, I'm always going from the chamber out through the barrel in one direction. That's what a lot of people recommend doing. So, you know, those people who are recommending it have a lot more experience than me, so I'm sort of doing the same thing. So I'm going to go ahead and run this brush through twice, and go ahead and pull that through. And one thing, when you're running a metal type of brush, like a brass brush, through your barrel, you never want to stop and change direction inside the barrel, because that will ruin your barrel, and it'll also ruin your brush. It's sort of okay with a nylon brush, but a brass brush, don't do that. Alright, I'm going to let it sit, let the hoppies do its magic, and then we'll go ahead and run the squeegee through and see how good it does. Okay, it's been sitting for about a minute. And again, here's the squeegee. Now, as you can see, this can screw onto any kind of rod or cable system. It uses the standard threads on there. Like here's a cleaning rod, and you can see it could attach to that also. But we're going to go ahead and pull it through using a cable from an Otis system that I have, an Otis cleaning system. So you want to go ahead and screw that on there. Make sure it's tight. Don't over tighten it. Just tight enough so it's on there and you don't have to worry about it coming off. And I'm going to go ahead and run this through. Go ahead and pop this in there, and let's see if it does what it says it's supposed to do. So let's go ahead. I'm going to get it over here so you can see how it looks when it's coming out. Alright. My hands are so wet. Ooh, lots of dirt. Alright, so let's take a look at that. So you can see that first baffle caught a lot of dirt right there. And then as we went down, a lot of the barrels cleaned up. Now the great thing about this is you can just clean it with soapy water. Now I'm going to run this through again, so I'm just going to go ahead and clean this up with a there, and just run it through one more time, because what I'm going to do after this is run a clean patch through it and see if it did a good job cleaning it, to see if it could actually get rid of, you know, so-called having to use. Look at that, very clean. So here's what I'm going to do to see how well this did. I am going to run a patch through here to see how well it cleaned it. I'm just running a nice white patch through there will let us know how much dirt it actually took out. Even if it comes out a little bit dirty, if it's fairly clean, it'll definitely save you running through a lot of patches where you just have to run a few through instead of many. So eventually it'll be saving you money. Alright, this is kind of a loose patch just to demonstrate, and it came out pretty clear. I could see a little bit there, but it did a pretty good job. So that's definitely will save you time. I want to run a tighter patch through there real quick. Man, it's hot. Ugh. You know, when it gets really hot, you start doing stupid things, and I'm rushing because I want to get my fan back on, but my fan makes so much noise. Alright, let's go ahead and run this through. Go ahead and pull that through there. And just after running the squeegee through there twice, and you can see there is still a little bit of dirt there, but not that much. So here's my opinion on it. It doesn't do what it claims to do, and that alleviates. It doesn't alleviate, but it does get rid of most of it. I would say running this through twice will get rid of probably about 95% of the stuff, you know, after your initial squeegeeing, and then you only have like 5% left, which in the end result is you'll save on patches, but I still recommend running a patcher through here. I'm losing my cognitive thought because it's just way too hot. So anyway, I'll give this a 8 out of 10. I think it's something worthwhile. They do make these in several different calibers, so you can check them out. So thank you very much for joining me here at the Gear Obsession channel. I really appreciate every friend, viewer, subscriber, and you. And let's go to the range and have some fun before we end it. Take care.